I think my lowest point was during first year. One important tip that he gave me is to choose just one material for each subject. That's the only thing that I can say is kaya siya. As long as you put in the hours, you put in the effort, kaya siya.
Ayan, mas importante kasi yung boses mo. Sorry for the very cheap setup. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be reviewing one of the 2015 bar exams, PASSER, Armand Dulay. So Armand, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Armand, and I just recently passed the bar, and I went to Atty Law School, and I also graduated from Ateneo de Manila University with a degree in BS Legal Management.
So Armand, can you describe yourself as a law student?
As a law student, I'm a crammer actually. For exams, like for example, if we have exams and then there are 2 days allotted for it, I'll probably lie in bed for the first day.
Yeah, bang. Okay, go.
And then, because I always think I have so much time, and then it's always too late when I realize that, oh my gosh, I don't have time anymore. That's when my mind focuses, when I know that I don't have enough time. So that's what also happened to me in the bar.
Talaga?
So I'm a crammer, yes, all the way through from law school until the bar. So not a good example.
Okay. And how was your law school life? Can you describe it?
My law school life, it's very different from college life. I think law school for me is very similar to high school because of the rigorous academic requirements and studying every day. College for me was all about going out, getting to know people, developing yourself, building relations with other people. But law school was really like high school. You have to study, you have to sit down, you have to invest time in studying.
By the way, we're actually high school classmates, so I know what he's talking about when he said that law school is like high school.
During my first year, I decided that I wanted to focus on my studies only. So I didn't join any orgs, I didn't join anything. I was afraid that it might take time away from studying. But then, I realized that I couldn't go to school and not join any orgs or not meet other people. So when I was second year, I decided to join the student council. And then actually the funny thing is, when I was in first year, I didn't have very good grades. Then when I ran for the student council and then I was performing, I was in public office, having time away from the academics, my grades steadily went up. So that's when I realized that, okay, I can't just do academics alone. I also have to engage myself in other activities. And I found myself performing better.
Pero in college, you were also involved?
Yes, very much involved in the student council in college, Sanggunian. And I was also an officer of my home organization, Ateneo Lex.
So what would you consider your ups and downs in law school?
Okay. I think my lowest point was during first year. I actually almost failed the subject.
What subject was that?
Obligations and contracts under Mel Santa Maria.
Oh, okay.
He's an anchor now on TV5. So when the results of when the final grades came out, I actually got a 67. So that's a failing score. And in my school, if you failed obligations and contracts, automatically, for sure 5 years, because it's a prerequisite to so many subjects. I was like, so I prepared an email to my mom, I sent an email to them, I talked to my dad and told them that I'm going to have to stay in school longer because I failed the subject. And then, one of my friends, he checked my final exam, and then he saw that there were corrections in the grading. Like the 3-point multiple choice questions were credited only 1 point. So yes, said, okay, I'll tell the professor about it. I'll let him see your exam, and then we'll see. But I was thinking, 67 is so far from 75. That's like 8 points. So I was just praying and praying and praying and praying that, you know, maybe I'll make it. And then, when I called my friend, I was overseas then, to ask him to check my grades online. He said, Armand, you don't have a failing grade. I said, no, yes, I do. I have a 67 there. Check my grade for obligations and contracts. And then he said, no, your grade is 78. I was like, oh my gosh, I was just saved by prayer, by a miracle. And then that's actually the turning point in my law school life. And I said, I don't ever want to feel that feeling again of failing. You know, I think God made me taste it, and I don't want to experience that again. So, come second year, I decided to really push myself to study. And then, ever since that semester, I was in the dean's list and I made the honors. So, that was my turning point. That was my lowest point, actually.
Highest.
My highest point in law school? Oh my God, wow.
Ano? Graduating?
Yes, I think that's when I realized that law school was such an amazing experience. I realized that when I was in the graduation ceremony, because you know when I was entering law school, I didn't have any confidence. I was really scared, and I didn't even think that I will make it. And then 4 years later, I graduated, and I had good grades. I graduated with honors, and then
5 years later. Abogado ka na!
Yes. So I was like, I didn't think that I would be in this moment. That's when I thought in graduation.
You never thought I would be able to interview. Sorry. Okay, let's go to the bar.
Okay.
How did you prepare yourself for the bar?
I attended an important lecture by Dean Cesar Villanueva about the bar. And then I think one important tip that he gave me is to choose just one material for each subject. He said that it's better to read one material many times over than to read several materials once.
Quality over quantity. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how I started. I looked at the materials that the previous bar passers used, the top-notchers, and then I decided to pick just one material from each person. So, and then, again, I would have to say that I'm a crammer because we were given 7 months to review. So that's from April until October.
Okay.
It's a bit unfair. April to October. I only started seriously studying in July. July.
4 months?
Yes. So I was on vacation.
Ganda mo.
April, May, June. Yeah.
Crammer ka kasi talaga.
Yes, I'm a crammer. So I was only able to read. I was only able to go through all my materials once. So I only had one reading, and then second was pre-week already. But I was sure that I told myself I wanted to take my time reading each material. I wanted to understand what each paragraph was saying, and I wanted my brain to understand it, and I wanted to see the purpose actually of the law and why it was written that way, so that it could help me remember things. So I wanted to understand it. So that's what I did. I took my time. I read slowly. Doesn't matter if people were already on their second read, third read. I was still on my first.
Mm-hmm.
But I was confident in the way I was studying because I knew that it was how I understood things and it was how I appreciate studying. Yeah, I think it's about self-awareness because we all have a different study habit. So you have to know what works best for you and stick with that. I mean, you've been studying for years in law school already. So you already know what works for you and what doesn't.
Right.
And so you should just stick with that. And don't compare yourself with others.
Okay. Thank you, Armand, for those tips. We have to ask him more tips. So, Armand, can you tell me about your routine?
I wake up around 7 or 8 a.m. and then I studied at the QC Public Library. And the public library opens at 8 a.m. So I try as much as possible to make it there by 8 a.m. But of course, me being a crammer, I'm always late. I usually arrive 9:30, 10 o'clock. So my goal is 8 o'clock, but I arrive 9:30. But anyway, and then I study until 12. So from 8 until 12 I study, and then I take a break, take my lunch from 12 to 12:30, and then from 12:30 to 1 o'clock, I surf the net. By surfing the net, I just actually go to Rappler
Okay.
because I deactivated my Facebook
Okay.
for the time
That's
being.
it.
Yeah,
Oh.
during the bar. And
News?
yes, so I just read the news. That's my break.
Okay.
And then from 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock, the library closes at 5. I study, I take several naps in between. And then during the earlier stages, I call it a day after 5. I stop studying at 5. And then just do whatever I want. And then sleep early. But like when September came, October came, and I realized that I was a bit behind. After 5 p.m., I transferred to a cafe like Starbucks or Kenny Rogers to continue studying. And then I go home at 7 to have dinner. And then after dinner, I study some more, maybe until 12 o'clock. And then I sleep from 12 to 8 and then do everything the next day. And then that routine eventually extended into Saturdays and Sundays before the bar.
Did you still have a social life, or
Yes.
did you take vacations?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So in May, I went to
Japan.
Dumaguete and
Dumaguete.
Siquijor.
Okay.
In June, I attended a wedding in Tagaytay, and then I think
Okay.
that's not a vacation. But and I think in July I went to Korea,
Okay.
and then I had several out of town trips in between.
So-
yes, I think it's important to still have a social life, especially if you can allot maybe once a week to meet with your friends just to keep you sane, because seeing your books every day and going through that process, you'll be crazy not to see anyone outside of it. So I strongly recommend it to maintain your social life even during the bar preparation.
So let's go to the day when you learned about passing the bar. So where were you during that time?
I was in my room on my bed,
Okay.
yes, with a friend, with a high school friend, our friend Shane. Shout out to Shane.
Shout out!
So we were just there waiting for the results on a hot summer day.
How
And then,
did you find out that you passed?
I actually wanted to see the list for myself before anyone called me. So what I did was I turned off my phone, logged out of all of my social media, and I was just I kept on refreshing the link in the Supreme Court, but unfortunately my internet connection was bad. So I only gave my number, my working number, to one person, and that person, he was impatient and he just wanted to tell me. So he said, "Okay, can I just call you, please?" And I said, "No, I want to see it for myself." But he didn't listen to me. He ended up calling me, and then he said, "Stop looking anymore. You passed already. Your name's on the list. You made it. You're a lawyer now."
Who was that friend?
Mike
Mike!
Villanueva.
Shout out!
He's now the president of the student council.
Oh, shout out! What do you think is the most important thing you've learned throughout law school, preparing for the bar and taking the bar?
I think the most important realization that I've had is that bar preparation starts on your first day of class
We always say
in law
that.
school. Yes, because
But it's hard eh. What if you did not prepare really? Pero sige, that's
I
what
know.
you
Because when you're preparing for the bar and you still don't know even the basic principles, that's you will get nervous.
Totoo,
But
totoo.
what I have to say is I was in the same situation. Of course, I didn't master all the subjects while I was in law school. So when I was preparing for the bar, I did have those very difficult subjects that I had to study by myself, and I regretted that. I didn't prepare for them enough when I was in law school, and now I'm taking the bar and I still don't know them. But don't give up, because you can study it, and you can study it on your own, and you can learn it on your own. So if you're still in law school, or if you're starting law school, take it seriously from the very beginning. Remember that each day that you study in law school is a preparation for the bar, And for those of you who are already graduating from law school and are about to take the bar, it's okay. It's not the end of the world if you don't know, if you're not a master of all the subjects. You still have ample time, you still have like 5 months before November for you to study. And as long as you take it seriously, take your time to understand, and you focus, and you really you take your time in studying something, you will learn it
Okay.
on your own, no problem.
Alright. You still have a last like motivational message or quotation for anyone who's watching this video?
Maybe what I can say is, kaya siya.
Ayun, that's nice. Kaya siya.
Because I was a freshman, I really didn't think that I could go through it. Go through the rigors of law school, studying every day, getting called for recitations, taking the very long exams, and writing long essays. And then when I was graduating, I didn't think that I could prepare well enough for the bar. I didn't think that I would make it. And then come November, the Saturday before the bar, I was so nervous. I didn't think that I could sit through a 4-hour exam and write everything that I know. So basically, I didn't think that I could do it. But when you're there, when you're under the pressure, and when you're completely focused, you will realize that you can do so many things that you don't even realize that you can do. So that's the only thing that I can say is, kaya siya. As long as you put in the hours, you put in the effort, kaya siya.
Kaya siya, guys. Kaya siya. Kaya. Okay. Alright, thank you, Armand, for those very useful, inspiring messages. Okay, let's go to the lightning round. Lightning round. Lightning round.
Okay.
First question. Coffee or tea?
Tea, definitely.
Library or coffee shop?
Library.
Morning person or night person?
Night, unfortunately.
Night? Okay. Sleep or no sleep?
Sleep. 8 hours a day.
Favorite bar subject?
Favorite bar? Tax.
Tax?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
my job now.
Favorite law school professor?
Attorney Montero.
Why?
Tax. Because I love tax. Because
Kaya? Okay. Alright guys, so that's the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned so much from soon-to-be attorney Armand Louis T. Dulay. And thank you, Armand. Alright, and I'll see you again soon, only here on my channel. Yeah, bye! Wait lang. Sa introduce yourself.
Anong gusto mo
Sabihin ka na yung kunwari na, I'm Armand Louis, I graduated from ganyan.
Tapos
Sabihin mo na,
I live in Payata.
Sabihin mo from Ateneo Law School. Okay, let's start again.
My routine, I wake up every
Morning.
morning. Well, yeah.